Have you ever stopped to think about the people you spend the most time with? Who are you walking through life with? It's a crucial question because relationships are never neutral. They either add to you or they subtract from you. They either build you up or they tear you down. The Bible is incredibly clear on this. Proverbs 13 verse 20 puts it bluntly, "He who walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm." It's a principle of life, like gravity. You become like the people you surround yourself with. So, how do we navigate this? How do we build relationships that are life-giving and wise, instead of ones that lead to harm? The key, I believe, lies in understanding the nature of true, godly love. Not the fluffy, romantic comedy version of love, but the gritty, resilient, and powerful love described in the Bible. Let's look at Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. It paints a beautiful picture. Love does not delight in evil. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. This isn't a passive, feel-good emotion. This is an active, sacrificial love. It's a love that chooses to see the best, to fight for the relationship, and to endure through hardship. It's a love that is committed to building up, not tearing down. Think about the ultimate example of this kind of love. Jesus. Picture the scene at the Last Supper. Jesus is there with his 12 disciples, his inner circle, the men he has poured his life into for 3 years. He gets down on his knees, takes a basin of water and a towel, and begins to wash their feet. This was the job of the lowest servant, yet here is the Son of God performing this humble act. Now consider this. Among those disciples was Judas Iscariot. At that very moment, Judas had already made the decision to betray Jesus. The plan was in motion. Jesus knew this. He knew Judas's heart was filled with deceit and greed. He knew Judas was about to hand him over to be beaten, mocked, and killed. And what did Jesus do? Did he expose Judas? Did he refuse to wash his feet? No. He knelt down and washed the feet of his betrayer. He extended the same love, the same service, the same humility to Judas as he did to Peter, John, and the others. This is love that does not delight in evil. It doesn't rejoice when someone else stumbles. Instead, it always protects, always hopes. Even in the face of betrayal, Jesus offered a chance for repentance, an act of radical love. This love is so profound, it's almost difficult for us to comprehend. And it didn't stop at the Last Supper. Fast forward to the cross. Jesus is hanging there in unimaginable agony. His body is torn. He's struggling for every breath. The people who put him there are at the foot of the cross, mocking him, gambling for his clothes. He has every reason to be filled with hatred, to call down judgment. But what does he do? He looks out at the crowd, at the soldiers who just drove nails through his hands and feet, and he prays. He says, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." In the midst of the most profound injustice and suffering, his heart is not on revenge, but on forgiveness. His focus is on mercy. That is a love that always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. It perseveres through the ultimate test. This is the standard. This is the kind of love that builds, that adds, that makes us wise. It's a love that isn't dependent on the other person's perfection, but is rooted in a commitment to their good. Now, let's contrast that with the other side of the coin from Proverbs. The companion of fools will suffer harm. This isn't just about avoiding people who make obviously bad choices. A fool, in the biblical sense, is someone who lives as if God doesn't exist, someone who is governed by their own selfish desires and flawed wisdom. Spending time with people like that will inevitably pull you down. Their advice will be tainted, their priorities will be skewed, and their influence will lead you away from wisdom. There's a tragic story in 2 Samuel chapter 13 that perfectly illustrates this. It's the story of Amnon, one of King David's sons. Amnon develops an obsessive and sinful desire for his half-sister, Tamar. He knows it's wrong, and he's miserable because of it. But Amnon has a friend, a cousin named Jonadab. The Bible describes Jonadab as a very shrewd or very crafty man. When Jonadab sees that his friend Amnon is distressed, does he offer wise counsel? Does he encourage Amnon to seek God and turn from his sinful thoughts? Does he protect him from his own destructive impulses? No. Jonadab does the opposite. He uses his cleverness to devise a wicked plan. He tells Amnon exactly how to trick Tamar and violate her. He gives him the step-by-step instructions to commit a terrible sin. Jonadab was a companion of fools. He didn't build Amnon up. He gave him a shovel and helped him dig his own grave. And what was the result? The companion of fools will suffer harm. Amnon acts on the evil advice. He devastates Tamar's life, shatters his family, and fills the palace with grief and anger. And 2 years later, Amnon himself is murdered in an act of revenge by Tamar's brother, Absalom. The foolish counsel of one friend led to destruction, ruin, and death. Jonadab's influence was subtraction, not addition. It was poison. So we have these two paths, the path of Jesus, which is the path of selfless, persevering love that builds people up, even our enemies, and the path of Jonadab, which is the path of crafty, selfish counsel that leads to destruction. Which path are your relationships on? Think about your closest friends, the people you go to for advice. Are they pushing you closer to the wisdom and love of God? Do they challenge you to be better, to be more forgiving, more hopeful, more persevering? Or do they cater to your worst impulses? Do they encourage your gossip, your anger, your selfishness? Do they, like Jonadab, help you figure out how to get what you want regardless of the consequences? Being a wise friend, a friend who adds to someone's life, isn't always easy. Sometimes it means having a difficult conversation. It means speaking the truth in love even when it's uncomfortable. It means protecting your friends not just from others, but sometimes from themselves. It means hoping for the best for them and persevering with them through their struggles, always pointing them back to the source of true wisdom. And choosing wise friends is just as important. It means intentionally seeking out people who are themselves walking in wisdom, people who aren't afraid to hold you accountable, people whose lives reflect the love of Christ. Your relationships will shape your destiny. They are that powerful. So let's make a conscious choice. Let's choose to be the kind of friend who loves like Jesus loved, a friend who protects, trusts, hopes, and perseveres. And let's choose to walk with those who will help us become wiser, not those who will lead us to harm. Because your life and the lives of those you love are far too precious for anything less. Love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. This is a game changer. It tells us that love isn't just an emotion we feel. It's the very essence of God. So when we seek to love better, we are actually seeking to connect with the source of all love. It reframes love from something we try to create on our own to something we receive and then share. It's not about mustering up feelings. It's about plugging into a divine power source. Think of it like this. You can't give water from an empty cup. This verse shows us where to go to get our cup filled so it can overflow to others. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does this love actually look like in our daily lives? For that, we turn to the most famous chapter on love ever written. 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 7 are a checklist for real love. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Let's break this down. Love is patient. Think about the last time you were stuck in traffic or waiting for someone who was late. Was your first instinct patience? Probably not. But real love chooses patience, even when it's inconvenient. Love is kind. Kindness isn't just about being nice. It's an active choice to be gentle, considerate, and helpful, especially when the other person doesn't seem to deserve it. Then it says love is not self-seeking. This one hits hard in our me-first culture. This kind of love asks, what's best for us, not what's in it for me. It prioritizes the well-being of the other person. And this one is huge. It keeps no record of wrongs. Imagine a relationship where every mistake isn't brought up in the next argument. That's what this is talking about. It's the power of forgiveness, of wiping the slate clean instead of keeping a detailed spreadsheet of every time you've been hurt. This isn't about being a doormat. It's about refusing to let bitterness take root and destroy the relationship. It's choosing freedom over resentment. This chapter shows us that love isn't a feeling. It's a series of conscious decisions and actions. It's a verb. It's what you do. It's choosing to be patient when you want to rush, choosing to be kind when you feel like lashing out, and choosing to forgive when you want to hold a grudge. This is why the Bible is such a practical guide. It gives us a clear, actionable blueprint for building healthy, strong relationships. So how do we apply this to different kinds of love? Let's talk about marriage. Ephesians 5:25 says, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." This is a radical call to sacrificial love. It's not a 50-50 contract. It's a 100-100 commitment. It calls for a love that is willing to put the other person's needs, dreams, and well-being ahead of one's own. This verse isn't just for husbands. It's a principle for any committed partnership. It's about a love that gives without expecting anything in return, a love that serves, protects, and cherishes. When both partners adopt this mindset, you create a cycle of generosity and security that makes a relationship thrive. But the Bible doesn't just talk about romantic love. It has a lot to say about how we love our neighbors, our friends, and even our enemies. In John 15:12-13, Jesus says, "My command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." This elevates friendship to a sacred level. It's not just about having people to hang out with. It's about loyalty, sacrifice, and being there for someone through thick and thin. It's about being the kind of friend you'd want to have. Think about the best friend you've ever had. Didn't they embody this? Weren't they the person you could call at 3 a.m.? That's the kind of love the Bible champions. And then there's the most challenging command of all. In Matthew 5:44, Jesus says, "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." This sounds impossible, right? How can you love someone who has hurt you or wants to harm you? The key is in the word love. In the original Greek, there are different words for love. The love used here is agape, which is not an emotional, fuzzy feelings kind of love. It's a love of the will. It's a decision to desire the best for someone, even if you don't like them. Praying for them is the first step. It changes your heart. It's not about condoning their actions. It's about refusing to let hate consume you. It's about choosing a higher path, a path of peace and inner freedom that hate can never offer. This is perhaps the most powerful and transformative teaching on love, because it frees us from the prison of our own bitterness. So what's the common thread through all these verses? It's a love that is active, sacrificial, and unconditional. It is a love that originates from God and is meant to be shared with everyone around us. It's a love that isn't dependent on how we feel in the moment, but on a commitment we make. The Bible shows us that true love is less about finding the right person and more about being the right person. It provides a concrete, practical guide. When you're angry, remember, love is not easily angered. When you feel jealous, remember, love does not envy. When you've been wronged, remember love keeps no record of wrongs. It's not just a collection of nice quotes. It's a step-by-step manual for navigating the complexities of human relationships. It challenges us to rise above our instincts and to choose a better way, a way of love that builds up, heals, and endures. The beauty of it all is that we're not expected to do this on our own. The Bible repeatedly says that this love is a gift from God. Galatians 5:22 calls love the first fruit of the Spirit. It's something that grows in us as we connect with God. It's not about trying harder, but about surrendering more. It's about allowing that divine love to flow through you, transforming you from the inside out. So the next time you're facing a relationship challenge, whether it's with a partner, a friend, a family member, or even an enemy, I encourage you to turn to these verses. See them not as ancient rules, but as timeless wisdom. This isn't about religion in the stiff, formal sense. It's about a relationship with the source of love itself, and letting that relationship revolutionize every other relationship in your life. It is, without a doubt, the greatest love story and the most effective relationship guide ever written. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope this has given you a new perspective on love and the incredible wisdom found in the Bible. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that dives deep into life's biggest questions. Drop a comment below with your favorite verse about love. I'd love to read them. Until next time, go out and love well.